my name is Reese Jones. I'm with Cardiff Sport TV, and we are here today to do a little varsity preview. But first, let's have a little look around the news going around the UK. So, last night, Arsenal travelled to South London to play Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. The Gunners were unbeaten in 5, going into this crucial match to compete for the Champions League spot, but the Eagles soared higher and knocked 3 past Arteta's side in what ended up being a comfortable 3-0 victory for the home team. Here's what the Spaniard had to say after the defeat.
Overall, it's unacceptable. Put our hand up, me the first one, apologize and regroup. And tomorrow is a new day and a new opportunity to start to prepare the game against Brighton.
Over the weekend, Cardiff City were defeated at home by South Wales rivals Swansea City in a 4-0 humiliation. It's the first time the Swans have secured the league double over the Bluebirds in their history, leaving Cardiff fans verbally upset with manager Steve Morrison after the match over player selection. Swansea now sit 1 place above Cardiff in the Sky Bet Championship with 7 games yet to play. In the rugby now, Wales came back from being down 7-19 to defeat Scotland 24-19 in the TikTok Six Nations on Saturday in front of a record attendance in the Cardiff Arms Park. Tries from Cerys Phillips, Sinead Harris, Kelsey Jones and Fionn Lewis gave Wales their second win in this year's Six Nations. And the win prepares the team in red for a massive clash against England in Gloucester on Saturday. Captain Shuan Lillicrap had a message to the girls after the game: "We can't keep doing this. Even though it's great entertaining rugby and everyone's on the edge of their seats, we've got to start better." This afternoon, the Welsh Fire cricket men's side picked Australian spinner Adam Zampa, South African batter David Miller and Pakistani paceman Naseem Shah in their 100 squad. They joined stars Johnny Bairstow and batter Ollie Pope to hopefully lead the Fire to victory in the second iteration of the 100. Lastly, with the Masters Golf Tournament approaching on Thursday, this will be the first edition of the tournament in 20 years where Welshman Ian Woosnam won't be making a playing appearance. Being the champion in 1991, the 63-year-old will not be returning after making 32 appearances in the competition. Woosnam has gone into a new career as a mental coach and is defined by many as the secret weapon behind world number 1 and Masters favourite John Ram.
Take your hat off to Ian Woosnam as well.
But you could have bet anything. Pat, I know he's been short on some putts. I knew that when that putt was going down that hill that he was never going to leave that one short.
We'll be back with the presentation of the green jacket to Ian Woosnam in a moment.
All right. Well, that's the news going on around the UK. I'm now joined with Joe Penrose to talk me through the women's TikTok Six Nations rugby. Joe, how are we today?
Yeah, very good.
Alrighty, so talk me through. You watched that game, right, on Saturday at the Arms Park. It was against Scotland. It was a nervy start. That's 2 games in a row that they've gone down early, but just talk me through what you were thinking when you were watching kind of the early stages of that game, kind of the first half.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty nerve-wracking again. I've only recently watched the Wales-Ireland game, so I'd watched that actually that morning as well, so I was already kind of getting a bit tense remembering what the Wales-Ireland game had been like, and yeah, it started off slow. Yeah, it's a very similar story really to the Wales-Ireland game. Just let the other team kind of just attack us. Our defence held strong. There weren't many scores against us in that first half, but really we just couldn't seem to get our attack in shape just going at all in the first half. But luckily that wasn't the full story.
And then going into the second half, I mean, it was in front of a record crowd, just under 5,000 fans, which, by the way, is fantastic to see. That many numbers coming out and watching some women's rugby.
Yeah.
But going into that second half and going into the last 5 minutes into that last try, what were the emotions going on when you were watching that? Because it was just a pretty crazy comeback, especially in such a huge competition as well.
Yeah. Oh, it was so tense. I've never been as stuck into the women's rugby as I have this year, and gosh, it was tense. It was awful. I hate how much I care. But yeah, it was brilliant. I don't know. I was quite confident that we could pull through because I'd seen a similar thing last week.
Yeah, even when we were down, just because you'd seen it before.
So even though we were behind, we didn't go out in front until the last 5 minutes of the game. I was still pretty confident that we could. We were looking good. You could see the girls were looking happy. I don't know, that sounds odd, but yeah, they looked confident. So I kind of was sure that there's players that come on off the bench, those impact players, people like Fionn Lewis coming on. Were really people like Sinead Harris. They really made a difference. Sinead Harris came on in the second half and she got a turnover straight away and then went over and scored. And then later Fionn Lewis was the one who finish a brilliant try from Alicia Butcher's initial break. So yeah, those impact players really made the difference, and I think knowing that they were coming on and knowing the difference they've made in the previous game, I managed to keep my cool a little bit until the end.
Just a bit of just a case of been there, done that in terms of your confidence staying high. I know I've felt that way in different sports that I've been watching. Do you think that the new professional contracts plays a role in how confident that they've been in this Six Nations so far?
Hugely, yeah. I think it's the main reason why we've been doing so well. If you look at the same time last year, with 2 rounds in, same time last year we hadn't scored a point yet, the Wales women's team. So, I mean, yeah, I'm not saying that's all down to professional contracts, but surely there has to be something majorly to do with it. The fact that even some of the people who have full-time contracts are on the bench shows how well the Wales women's team is doing. Even the people who don't actually have a full-time contract may have a retained contract, or not even that. I think the morale in the Wales camp has just been hugely lifted, and you can tell like more people care about women's rugby in Wales now. More people are chatting about it. You can see that just the kind of momentum has fully shifted, and I think that really pushed the girls today. Perhaps that was something that made them feel kind of nervous in the first half. They were in front of a record crowd. They'd been away with Ireland the week previously, but yeah, you can see that the crowd started pushing them later on. And I think for sure these professional contracts, we'll only see Wales just get better and better as the years go on from now.
And as I mentioned in that bulletin at the start of the show, Captain Joanne Lillicrap came out and said that they just have to be better. And as entertaining as it has been the past 2 games, with really dramatic late comeback victories, the players themselves, as ecstatic as they are with the victories, they're not really happy that they're not starting as well. Do you think that a change is going to come in the massive game against England in Gloucester on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that has to change. Shuan was saying that on Tuesday. They need to come out of the blocks straight away as soon as it starts from minute 1. They need to be attacking. They need to be ready in their defence. England is one of the best teams in the world, but you can see they beat Italy. They kept them scoreless. 12 tries they scored last week. They are a formidable force to be reckoned with, and I think it will definitely be a shock for the Welsh girls having. Well, definitely not breeze through the last 2 matches, but having come out feeling really, really good, that it's not going to be an easy one for them this time round, especially as it's also going to be in England. Hopefully there'll be a lot of fans, Welsh fans, travelling over there. It's not too far away. It's in Gloucester. But I think it's going to be a completely different game, but they can take the things that they've learned in these first 2 games. They've got a lot of confidence. So, I think it'll be a really interesting game as long as they do come out of the starting blocks.
Is it possible to win it, do you think?
Ooh, well, never say never, but I mean, you can see the English women, they've had professional contracts for a good few years now, and you can see that is why they're so far above the rest in that regard. So I think they may well pip it on the day, but I think just Wales will just keep getting better and better and becoming more and more competitive for the likes of England.
Banging. Well, I like the confidence. I'll probably tune in and have a look, because I know, obviously with my accent, I'm American, and the only exposure I had to rugby before I came over here 4 years ago was my dad watching Wales rugby, and most of that was men's. But since I've been over here in the past couple of years, I've just seen, especially this year, since the introduction of the contracts and stuff, just how big the women's game has grown. And I mean, Wales, England, regardless of the sport, regardless of the occasion, is just a sight to behold, really. And I'm always rooting for a Wales win. I hate seeing England just trounce over Wales in whatever sport it is. So hopefully a good game and a victory for Wales coming. But let's move on to more varsity focused, more Cardiff Met focused. You sat down with some of the members of the Women's Rugby Union today ahead of varsity tomorrow. So let's get their thoughts on how they're feeling about tomorrow.
I'm here with team captain Sophie Licence-Law and club coordinator Laura Satterley. Guys, you're not able to be part of the squad tomorrow, but you are heading to varsity. How are you feeling ahead of tomorrow?
Yeah, I think we're both quietly confident with the varsity team. We've got a very strong team out. Our girls are raring to go. Training on Monday was, the atmosphere was just very high. These girls are keen. We want to beat them. They've got 2-0 over us at the moment, so we need to bring this back for Met.
I think we've got one girl in our squad who's experienced a varsity before. Other than that, this is everyone's first time. So I think it's going to be a really fun day and a really good atmosphere, and I think it's just going to be a great day for the rugby.
So let's chat a bit about team selection then. You mentioned that so many people have never played in a varsity before, but also there's a few names on the team sheet that you'd expect potentially to be there, but they're not. Was it really difficult to find the right team for tomorrow?
Yeah, I think it was a really tricky decision. Obviously, with varsity, we've got the flexibility to play a combination of our 1s and 2s. So we like to go for the senior girls in varsity so that they can have a nice send-off. So we've got a couple of new combinations. I think in the second row, Ruby and Nat have not been paired up there or starting for a while. So it'd be really nice to see those two together. They're both workhorses, so that'd be great.
It was never going to be an easy decision, but we've got girls that will definitely bring the fire tomorrow.
So tell me a bit about the history of varsity then. Like, how have you guys historically done against Bath, and are you feeling confident tomorrow that you can get ahead of them?
Yeah, like I said before, like this season, obviously we had a big jump for quite a few of our freshers. I don't think they were expecting the intensity of university rugby. So unfortunately, Bath do have 2-0 over us at the moment. But with the team that we've got out, I'm very confident that we can have them at home. I mean, it would be nothing better than to have an Archers win in Bath.
So there are a lot of seniors in the team tomorrow, people that it's probably going to be their last match for Cardiff Met. Do you think people will be going out just wanting to have fun because it's their last game, or will they be thinking about that win?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a mixture of emotions. Like you said, there's a fair few girls in that squad where it is going to be their last game for Met. I mean, we know for a fact that they're going to take everything to that table. They're going to leave their heart on that field. The stakes are very high for us. Like we said, we want to get that win. We're desperate for it. We want to show them really what Cardiff Met Women's can do.
I think it'll be incredibly emotional, especially for Shirley, Godwin and Leah. I think it's definitely their last game. So I just think it'll be incredible for them, and hopefully we can send them out on a high.
Final question then. Would you rather have a shower or a bath?
We would definitely rather have a shower.
I would rather have a shower than a bath.
I love the energy there from from both of those players, and I love the confidence. And I mean, I think it's justified to have that confidence. Last year, I think they absolutely trounced Bath last year. It was definitely a 20+ point victory last year from what I remember. So, not last year, obviously, last competition, which was 2 years ago. But you know, do you think that they should be confident? Do you think they have a right to be confident? Or what are we expecting to see tomorrow from them?
Yeah, well, as they mentioned a bit in that interview, they're able to kind of pick whoever they want to play tomorrow, whereas normally the ones are only able to play like 5 games, each person starting. So they have more kind of flexibility to choose who they want in that game. They've got some people who are just super qualified to be there. They have a number of players who've been in like the Welsh setup, the English setup. They've got some touch rugby players. So I think they'll be feeling really confident. When I was chatting to the girls beforehand, they were just like, oh yeah, we're going to absolutely thrash them. And historically, we have generally come out on top as well. Particularly as the Bath ones tend to be in the same league as our Cardiff Met twos. So having our ones team and the best players from our twos team as well, I think they're pretty confident that they can go, along with the support of all the other rugby girls. They're going to be heading over. We're going to have a big fan base. There's no other big matches going on at that time. So they're hoping they'll bring a big crowd, big Cardiff Met crowd, and yeah, we'll get the win.
Bang it. Well, that one's going to be at 4 o'clock tomorrow over at Bath University. Let's talk quickly just about the men's in terms of, mainly in terms of personnel. You know, we've been covering their season so far. Well, not so far, their season. That just finished last week against Exeter in the semi-final. That was a chance to go to Worcester to play in the final. It was a really, really close game. We thought that they were going to come back just like they did against Cardiff Uni in the quarterfinal. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be. But what an exciting season. And what names are we expecting to see from that team in the semi-final tomorrow at Bath?
Yeah, so unsurprisingly, it's not the ones that we've had in the likes of the semi-finals and the quarterfinals, but we have still got quite a few third years or final years going there. People like Morgan Nelson, Ethan McVie, Mr. USA will be heading over there.
Captain America.
Captain America. Charles Rylands recently got back. He was playing the semi-final. Bailey Marshall-Telfer, Joe Locke as well. So they'll be heading over. So we will have some very experienced players in that squad tomorrow. So that game is at 2:15 p.m. before the women's game. So make sure you're down there watching that.
Banging. Well, I am very excited for that. But moving on from the rugby, we're going to move over to water polo.
Guys, it's Cardiff Net!
Alrighty, I absolutely love that transition. That is hilarious. I am joined now with Quiva and Jazz from the water polo team. How are we doing, ladies?
Good, thanks, Reese. How are you? It's good to be here.
Oh, I'm absolutely loving my life right now, getting to interview some players going over to varsity tomorrow. What are you guys' plans for tomorrow?
Tomorrow we'll probably head down nice and early. We're leaving campus at, what time is it again?
9:15, the bus leaves.
Oh.
Yeah, nice and early, and we're not the best team for timekeeping, so we're told
No.
most of the girls 8:45 be on campus. That way they should be on time for when the bus is leaving.
And what time is you guys' game?
1:30 tomorrow. I think
1:30
we
for
are.
the girls are in the pool, and then the boys are getting in at 12:30.
Oh, okay.
So they're not very long games. It's only 7-minute quarters.
Okay.
So we'll jump straight in after, as soon as the boys finish, do a quick warm-up, and then probably, I'd say, swim off is probably around 2:45.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the expectation for tomorrow in terms of the overall day? I mean, not only just what result are you, hoping for, but also expecting. But then also, what are your plans for the entire day? Getting there, once you get there, how long you're going to stay there, going out afterwards potentially? What's the deal?
So when we get there, hopefully we'll have a bit of time to settle, chill, get hydrated. We'll definitely be supporting the boys.
Yeah, I think the fact the boys' game is first, it does give us a little bit of time to settle down, because obviously it's a bit of a trek up to Bath. Don't want to be going straight into the pool after sitting on a bus for that length.
Mm-hmm.
We did it going down to Plymouth.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Yeah.
So it does give us that extra hour sort of to chill, do a bit of a stretch, walk around, as Jazz said, get hydrated again, ready for the game.
Okay, so can you discuss with me, Jazz mainly, how long have you been playing water polo and what got you into it? Because where I'm from, in the US they obviously play it, but where I'm from in Kansas City, I don't know a single person, male or female, that plays water polo. So what got you into it?
So I've been playing for about 6 months. It was actually, I used to swim competitively, and it was one of the swimmers, so I was at swim training. One of the swimmers, Amy, who is actually our captain, just convinced me to come along, and I did, and I loved it. It's just a nicer way of doing swimming, taking part, being a part of a team. It's just got everything swimming doesn't have as a sport.
Yeah, it's like I was similar to Jazz, came from a swimming background. Swimming is such an individual sport. You don't have that team element unless you're doing a relay, and even still it goes off times. It's individual. So it's nice to get in the water. It's the main place we like to be. It's what we know best. And you're surrounded by a team, a bunch of girls who root for you, want to do well. And even with the lads team, we're all there. We're one family. It's not two separate teams.
Yeah, we have such a lovely team.
Yeah, it's a small group. We do struggle with numbers at time.
Yeah.
What are numbers generally?
So
when we first started playing at the beginning of the season, there was 7 of us, and you have to have 7. So we had no subs.
Yeah.
So it's because my knowledge of water polo, apart from watching it in the Olympics, is pretty poor. So it's 7 in the pool per team at a time.
Yeah. Obviously, 1 goalie, and then 6 of you attack and defend.
Yeah.
You all do attack. You all attack and you all defend. There's no attacking and defensive players.
Yeah.
And you're allowed up to 5 subs. So you're allowed effectively nearly a whole team. And we didn't have that.
We did well if we had 1 sub. So those are the games we're like, yes, we have a sub. And then we go up against teams who have a full bench of subs and still come out on the other side.
Yeah.
Like we weren't winning by 1 or 2 goals. We were winning by 21 or 22 goals. But the fact that a lot of us came from swimming, it did help us.
Yeah, we've got the fitness behind us. The swimming is the hardest aspect of it, really. So
we were still dying. we would have liked a few extra subs, but we've managed to recruit a little bit over the last couple of months and we've a lot of new people coming in for varsity, so we do actually have subs for this game. We have, I think, 3 for the women.
3, yeah.
And then 4 for the men. Yeah, something like that.
That's not bad. I'll be over in the basketball arena during it. But if you guys need an extra sub, I haven't really been training. I haven't been in a pool in about a year's time or so. But I think I can tread water for a little bit.
I'm sure the boys would more than welcome an extra sub. Like it's rolling subs, so the more the merrier.
I've got a pretty mean arm. You guys saw me the other day with that rugby ball. I was throwing it like a
You
football.
can launch that ball.
I can launch that ball. I got a bit of an arm.
Good half the rugby pitch. He launched it as if it was American football.
Oh, I love it. I'm just getting gassed up right now. So how's your guys' kind of season gone? I mean, you just mentioned you were winning by like not 1 or 2 goals in some of these games, but like 20 goals or something like that.
We finished in the middle of the table, really, didn't we? I think we came 3rd out of 6.
Okay,
which
not bad.
for
You take those, top
Yeah.
3,
Yeah, we'll take
bronze
that.
medal.
yeah.
You take those.
We had to take a lot of walkovers due to like not having the team or like not being able to get refs because it is such a like unknown
it's
sport.
such a
Was
niche
what walkover
sport.
like a
We conceded
DNF? Did
'cause
not.
we didn't play. Basically, we conceded.
And you guys got a loss like for those
yeah,
games.
which of them is a loss.
That is ridiculous.
Because it's such a niche sport, and there's not many referees in this sport.
Yeah.
And obviously, as you know, with for uni games, you got to source your own referee and things like that. So there was only one ref in Cardiff, so it was always a question of who got to him first. Was it all the Cardiff uni?
One ref in the entire
Yes,
capital city of
so-
Wales.
And our pool is not to regulation technically because we
No.
have a shallow end. So
Oh,
any
okay.
team that comes and plays us at home technically can automatically win. But only Exeter did that. Every other team played fair.
Yeah,
Oh.
Exeter played us under protest, so it means they've won. Basically, it was a challenge game. They won before we'd even started. But most other teams who came down to visit us, they know that about us before they get in the
And
water.
we all love the shallow end, really.
I hate the shallow end. As a goalie, I don't like that shallow end because the goal is a lot taller,
Okay.
and I can't jump that high.
Okay. Well, if I do end up making an appearance tomorrow, that will be me hanging out in the shallow end the entire time. Have you guys played Bath this year?
No,
We haven't, so we have no clue what to expect
no,
tomorrow.
they were the division above. I think they were.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, they're the division above us.
So is it just a case of kind of going into it, playing your game the way that you guys play it and just kind of
Yeah.
hoping for the
Yeah.
best?
Speaking to people on other teams, other universities, they are of a similar standard to ourselves. A lot of them started playing in university.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
So yeah. So I mean, you said you've only been playing for 6 months. Is that kind of the general feel of it? Is everybody kind of new to the sport?
Yeah, we've got 2 girls well, we've got 3 very, very experienced players. One's unfortunately injured. She plays for Wales.
yeah,
And the other 2 play National League for Exeter, so they're heads and shoulders above us, but we need it.
yeah, the girl injured, she had the choice to choose either play varsity and then risk long-term injury, but the moment she is up for Commonwealth qualification, so she didn't want to risk that, as well as EU Nations, which is like European champs and world champs as well later in the year. So
Okay.
she just thought she's only 2nd year, so she thought a bit smarter, sit out, enjoy the day, and save herself for Commonwealth Games, bigger competition to get the chance to represent your country.
Okay, fair play. So you got a couple big names. Well,
Yeah.
okay. Well, that sounds really exciting, and I know I'll be there and watching some of the highlight show on Thursday that are going to be on the Cardiff Sport TV YouTube channel on the Up the Archer show. Ladies, thank you for joining me, and good luck for tomorrow.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you very
you.
much for having us.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Sorry. All right, moving on from maybe a bit more of a niche sport onto one of the more mainstream sports. We're going to be moving on to basketball. Now, with basketball, the men's, women's, and wheelchair teams are going to be playing tomorrow. And focusing on the men's team for just a moment, one of the key players and the head coach, Eli Andam and James Daw, are going to be going on to the Commonwealth 3x3 tournament qualifications this weekend. I caught up with Eli Andam this weekend after the BWNL Cup final where he was playing with the Tribal Hunters. Here's his thoughts on that weekend.
Keep this quick.
Yeah,
But
that's fine.
the question everybody wants to ask, you just busted that rim out there. And not only that, triple-double today. I know the stat sheet doesn't say that. We'll rewatch it. You had triple-double.
Yeah, I
But
appreciate
huge
that.
performance from you today.
Appreciate
Where did
that.
this
Thank
come
you.
from?
Honestly, it's towards the end of the season. My NBL season didn't go as good as I wanted it to, and I thought just take it all out today. Next week, I've got something big coming up, so it's good to kind of shake the dust off a bit, But
Yeah.
I feel good. It feels good to win something,
Now, I got to ask. I know with Cardiff Met in the National Basketball League, you guys were relegated last week, of course.
Yeah.
Difficult season.
Yeah.
Did you take out some of that anger on the rim?
Oh, of course. Of course. I said today I am putting it all on the court. I didn't want, we got some Wales stuff coming up next week, and I didn't want my last game on the court to be to be us get a relic, you know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
I thought let me just play and, you know, have fun with it, you know. And great effort from the guys. Like, I'm just proud of everyone. I'm just happy.
MVP performance today, of course. Have you ever broken a rim before?
My home rim.
Really?
Yes. When I was younger, that's it. Though.
That's it.
Nothing that I feel like. Nothing as official as this. But
well, this one's pretty good, I'd say.
But yeah, there's a first for everything, I guess. You know. But
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Eli, thanks for your time. Great performance today. Good luck in the 3v3 qualifiers next week for the Commonwealth Games.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Cheers.
All right, so you heard Eli there talking about a little dunk that he had and about the rim, and me and Atticus were up in Wrexham commentating on the game that he was playing in. Again, he's a Cardiff Met archer that's going to be going to the Commonwealth game 3x3 qualification. But while he was there playing for the Cardiff Tribal Hunters, he had an absolutely insane moment that should probably be on ESPN Sports Center Top 10. And I'm just going to play a little bit of the commentary of the moment that happened. Basically, he went for an insane in-game dunk, and well, we'll just let you listen in.
And the in-arena announcer says it best. No, not today, sir. Eli on down. That is his third absolute swat.
Oh, and he's got a steal here just for fun anyway. Gonna take it out the court. Windmill, baby! Oh!
What?
He broke the rim! Oh my goodness! Play of the game, everybody! I don't know if we can continue. He broke the rim! He broke it! He broke the rim!
What? Eli on top.
So yeah, he absolutely snapped the rim in half on that game. It was just absolutely insane. So good luck to him on the Commonwealth qualification. I'm joined again with Joe, who's going to just chat to me really quickly about that Commonwealth 3v3 qualification. There's men's and women's going to that. Is that correct, Joe?
Yeah, so we've got a qualifying tournament, 6th of April, so very, very soon. Is that tomorrow, I believe?
Yes, I think it is, and I
That
think
is
it's
tomorrow.
up in Scotland, I believe. Yeah.
So yeah, that's to get a qualification for the Commonwealth Games, which is going to be held at the end of July. There's a ton of Cardiff Met archers in there.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 squads with 4 players on each one, 3 on the floor, and then 1 sub. And I mean, how many archers are actually going out of those 8 players?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually mad. Two of the men's team, James Dorr and Ellie. And then all the women are Cardiff Met archers. So that's Isabel Bunyan, Kim King, Karis Roy, and Laura Shanahan. Yeah, no problem. I mean, in terms of team chemistry, I mean, it doesn't get much better when all of them have been playing week in, week out. All of those players on the women's team in particular are all members of the WBBL Cardiff Met Archers basketball team. So all of them, you know, they're going to be playing for Wales. It's when you think about all of the players in Wales and all 4 of them are from our university. That's kind of insane, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, what a testament to what they're doing here at Cardiff Met. I mean, we know that Archers basketball is just one of the best setups in Wales, but this just proves it. I'm interested though. So there's 4 on each team. So it's a 3x3. So is it rolling subs? How does it work?
I think it's stop, like, timeout subs, kind of like in normal basketball. I think. I actually haven't seen 3-on-3 basketball. I'm assuming it's like half court or something like that. But yeah. I know that we're gonna be watching it on TV when they qualify, because they will qualify, won't they?
They will.
Definitely the women, at least, with that team chemistry. But the men's, I know obviously Eli on the weekend had a huge triple double for the Cardiff or for the Cardiff Tribal Hunters, which, by the way, for those that don't know, a triple double is when you get 3 double-digit stats. So he had, I think, 32 points, 12 rebounds, and 11 assists, which is just like a monster game. That doesn't even really happen in the NBA that much, which is insane. And then James Dahl, the other archer, he plays on the weekend team for the recently relegated D2 men's team. But they had a good comeback season at the end. They just lost the last game to survive in that Division 2. But he's going to be the head coach, or he is usually the head coach for the Bucks team that's going to be going tomorrow. I think Tom Guntrip, who's the head coach of the wheelchair team, is going to take over for that one. But yeah, I'm really excited to see that one. But so that's the men's and women's. Talking about wheelchair tomorrow, what are you excited to see about the wheelchair? What have you seen this season with the new wheelchair Premier League that's been going on here at Cardiff Met?
Yeah, I mean, it's been so exciting to have Cardiff Met in this, to have the Cardiff Archers in in the new Women's Premier League. It's the first of its kind in women's sport in Europe. And there's only 4 teams there. The Archers have a team is pretty insane.
Yeah.
I've been along to a few of the matches. I've actually been working on a behind-the-scenes video for them at the moment. It's 20 minutes long at the moment, so I need to get it down to like 5.
Yeah, give it a trim.
Max. So yeah, but there's just so much. It's just so interesting. Such a brilliant and exciting game, and it was so encouraging seeing such huge crowds down there as well. They really do stay off, and they have like the men's and the women's and the wheelchair basketball matches all happening on the same day. And it's really cool to just see that everyone just staying and getting more involved in disability sport. And yeah, I don't know if we've mentioned before, but the Commonwealth Games is one of the only like multi-sport event kind of inclusive games that there is. So the parasport athletes as well as the able-bodied sport athletes all compete under the same kind of brand, as it were.
That's cool.
Which is really cool. So we have women's wheelchair basketball in the Commonwealth Games. Our Wales women are hoping to qualify for that. They're going in a week or two up to Glasgow to attempt to qualify, playing against England and Scotland there. And it's going to be 3v3 again, qualifying tournament. And I believe they're playing 3v3 also. During the Commonwealth Games. So yeah, it's going to be exciting.
And I know one of the key players in the weekend team that you just mentioned, Jade Atkin, is one of the absolute all-stars in the Bucks competition this season. The wheelchair team actually made it to the Bucks Cup final against Nottingham, up in Nottingham, just I think a week or two ago. They unfortunately lost to Nottingham, but Nottingham had an unbelievable season. They were beating teams by like 60, 70 points every single game. So, I mean, we'll take a silver medal in the first season of that league. But yeah, she's going to be an absolute all-star. I personally am expecting an absolute trouncing in that game tomorrow at Varsity. But the wheelchair game is a mixed event, so it's both men's and women's both on the court at the same time. Me and Atticus Pede, the basketball correspondent, we both commentated on the semifinal that they played here, and they just blew me away with how competitive they were. They beat Loughborough, which is a sporting Goliath here in the UK, and I mean, I'm very excited to see that. Me and Atticus are going to be there all day tomorrow covering all the basketball. The wheelchair is going to kick off at 12:30. The women's basketball is going to kick off at 2:15, and the men's basketball is going to kick off at 4. And I'm expecting 3-0 from that tomorrow. Joe, thank you for joining me on the basketball chat.
No problem.
Guys, it's Cardiff Net!
All right. I'm going to laugh every single time I hear that. I'm now joined going from one mainly orthodox sport to one that I personally, growing up in America, did not know until I came over to this country, field hockey. I'm joined with our hockey correspondent, Molly Heathcote, and a player going over to Varsity tomorrow. Molly, introduce her for me.
So I'm joined with Hannah Parker, who plays for the first team, and you're centre-back, I believe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm at the back, team defence all the way.
Lovely. So firstly, I just want to say, Reece, some fantastic stories there, some true Archer stories as well, really inspiring, and hopefully our listeners are enjoying that. But yeah, I'm joined with Hannah, and she's going tomorrow for Varsity away. We've had 2 years off of Varsity, so to get back into it now is really exciting. And Hannah was playing in the National League, the top league that she could play in for Bucks. Unfortunately, they will be relegated this season, which, Hannah, how are you feeling about that?
I think it's a shame, and I am going to miss the girls, but the results, I think each game we've still kept a lot of motivation going forwards, and I think that's really hard to keep as a team. We've just supported each other the whole way through, and it's a shame, but I think there's a lot to look forward to next year. I'm not going to be here. I'm off to Loughborough, but I think there's a lot of good players coming up, a lot of role models that can keep the team in good stead, and I think they're going to smash it in the league below. I think they're going to do great, so a lot of the good things to come.
Yeah, that's really exciting, and really nice for you to speak about the younger players that are joining. So speaking of the team selection tomorrow, and you talk about these role models, so your captain chosen for tomorrow is Jess Hurst, and she's been your captain all season. How do you think she's navigated through the season, through relegation, and for preparation for Varsity?
Yeah, so Jess has been a name in hockey since I've been in first year. Everyone who knows who Jess Hurst is. on and off the pitch, she is one of the nicest people you'll meet. She's moulded the team very nicely together, like words of wisdom on and off the pitch, what to do, what not to do, keeping the girls centred, grounded. Each match, like, there's been a lot of teams, Nottingham, Loughborough, a lot of teams that you would just kind of write off, but she's like, no, we've got to keep our heads in it.
Yeah.
Each second on that pitch matters, and she's really just made sure that we push through each bit. She also has this really open and kind of like positivity. She smiles when I think everyone has been moody. She's really that light that you kind of need, and especially at like the dark times that we've been through this season. It's been a bit of a roller coaster. So you definitely need that one person to kind of rely on. So she's done that amazingly.
Yeah, I agree with you there from watching many of your games. I'm also going to say about selection. So I was sent the list last night, actually. When were you sent? When did you have your selection announced?
Same as you.
Was it last night?
Yeah, so
Wow.
I think the girls kind of knew. So we have quite a tight squad. So I think you could kind of get the gist of what the squad is. But we've had a few drop out just based off circumstances being busy, which is completely fine. But I think hockey were quite close through all the teams. So the girls pushing up, they've been training with us in the twos for past couple of weeks now.
Yeah.
So we've gelled really well with them. And so it's not completely out of the park. There's still that pressure coming up from the twos. Like, I've never been 100% secure because it's just like, I want to play at my best, and I'm sure all the girls do. And you never can be 100% comfortable. But yeah, the twos pushing up have been amazing. And I'm sure, like, when that squad came out last night, there was a couple of them absolutely buzzing that they got into the squad. So
yeah, I can
exciting
imagine.
times, yeah.
Like players such as like Megan Druitt, she was captain for the twos, and the twos, I believe they're getting promoted this year, so they did really well in their Bucks season.
Yeah, I am so happy for them. You've got some really lovely girls in the twos, and they deserve each moment of that celebration that they had. They smashed every match that they had. With 100% effort, and she's such an amazing girl, so I'm happy for her.
And who else have you got? You've got Molly Smith, although she occasionally plays for you guys. And then I just want to mention that you've had a few goalkeepers this season. Jana mainly being your Bucks goalkeeper. Unfortunately, she's not playing tomorrow, so tomorrow we've got Sally Hopkins playing. And you've had Liv Knifton, is that her name? Liv Knifton. She's played for you before, but yeah, how do you feel Sally is prepared for the big game? And I saw you training last night, practicing some short corners at her. But how do you think she's ready?
So Varsity is known for being a bit rowdy, isn't it? It's you definitely got a huge sideline ready, and I think Sally's just fit for it. We've barely known with her, but even though we've trained for the past couple of weeks, but she just gels really well with our girls, and I think she's got that vocal range that Jana has. Just shouting us, telling us what to do, and even in the warm-up, just, chatting towards the girls. So I think you definitely need that, especially for Varsity. You need that somewhat, like, even if you get, whatever from the crowd, that you kind of stick to your guns, you know what to do, especially telling me what to do at the back. I need that support. So I think she fits in really well, and I think she's, got a bright future ahead of her. So
yeah, she's second year, I believe, as us, so she's got another year to go, and hopefully push forward for the first team. How have you personally prepared for Varsity? So, like, with regards to training, S&C, and that?
So I think, like what we said, we had a really tough season. Even though we've lost a lot of our matches, we play really well when we have an incentive. So we played when we have, like, the Cardiff clash. Like, that's when we know that it's game, when we have that kind of, like, rivalry. And I think that's why I'm so excited for Bath, because it's that whole Varsity atmosphere. So I think we've all been really driving towards this Wednesday. So everyone's putting a massive shift into S&C, had a really good turnout on Monday. And then also looking after, like, our health, our nutrition, making sure we're getting pan afterwards, having, like, group meals on breakfasts and stuff.
Yeah.
So just kind of looking after each other. Like, we're quite a close-knit squad. So even if, like, with uni work, like, I know I'm stressed, but some of the girls have, like, helped me out, and I'm helping them out.
That's really good. You are a very, like, close team, and you said before about, like, doing things together. So tomorrow you're leaving campus at 9:15. Your game is at 12. You'll push back, and then the men's is followed after you. Obviously they'll be supporting. But if we're saying you're leaving at 9:15, but you're meeting at 8 o'clock in the morning for breakfast, and how important is that morning meeting for your preparation for the game?
Oh, we just love an early morning, I think. No, we our S&Cs on Monday mornings we have to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. So I think it's a sleep-in for some of us. We just think that we play our best, especially in our away games. We've had some very long away days, like up to Edinburgh and all of that, and we play better when we have that kind of early start to kind of gel as one, and then we can go away, and then, you know, our heads are early on like ready for it. So just having that time to like have that kind of chit chat before, so we can kind of relax, get into the day, everyone's ready, nobody's like all flustered. Then you have the journey there, then you can switch on as soon as you get onto that pitch. So I think we know as a squad that's what we needed. So it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, you said that. Yeah. You know, for some of you, it's your first and your last varsity, especially for you.
Yeah.
And how does that feel?
It hasn't really sunken in yet. All I can say is I'm really excited for it, and I think for uni it's one of the like top events that you have coming into as a first year. So I'm really excited for it. And I think it's just going to be like the cherry on top to finish my uni experience. So yeah.
Okay, so I've just got one quick question. So you've got all this prep going in, 6 or like 8 in the morning you're meeting. You're waking up at 6 in the morning for these sessions. That's almost when I'm going to bed. So that's ridiculous that you're getting up that early. Is it all going to pay off afterwards? Or like what are your plans after? Are you guys going to just go mental after? Is it nights out? Like,
well, if you know hockey as well as I do, Reese, of course they will. Absolute nutters.
Yeah, I think one thing that Jess always says to us is hydrate before you rehydrate. So you've got to drink in all the water you can, have the right food. We have packed lunches going over. So we're going to make sure we get our nutrition in, and then the fun can begin. Spoiling all that we can. And then just kind of let off some steam. I know for me, like with disc handing and all of that, like this is the one day that I actually get to release, you know, have a little bit of fun. So I can see that happening for a lot of the girls. So yeah, do what hockey does best, I guess. Yeah. Have fun.
Bang it. Well, Molly and Hannah, thank you for joining me. Some good insight on hockey. I don't really know what goes into a day of hockey, especially a huge day like tomorrow's going to be at Varsity against Bath. So I appreciate you guys for letting me know that. Again, the first face-off you said is what, 12? Did you say?
It's 12 o'clock.
Yeah, 12 o'clock.
Pushback.
And then I said face-off.
And then the men's is following that. So I think it's at
probably like 1:30 or something like that. Would you guess? Yeah.
2 o'clock, I think.
2 o'clock? Okay. Well, we'll be there. We'll be covering it all the action.
Yeah,
Molly, you're going to be getting some highlights for us,
I will.
right?
I'll be getting on the bus with them. I'm not meeting them for 8 o'clock for breakfast. Absolutely not. I'll have my own breakfast on the bus. And then meeting them and getting on the bus with them. And then away we go to Bath. And hopefully I'm predicting a 3-1 win to Met. I think me and Hannah, that's what we've decided.
You reckon?
Yeah, I reckon so. Let's go.
Perfect. Well, thank you for joining me, ladies. We're just going to go really quickly into some of the organization that's gone into planning Varsity. It's the first time that Varsity's happened in over 2 years. So we spoke with SU rep Danielle Morgan, who's going to just walk us through all the planning and everything that's gone into making this day special.
I am Molly Heathcote with Cardiff Sport TV, and I'm here with
Danielle Morgan, SU Sport.
Well, we've had no varsity for the last 2 years because of COVID. And how do you expect the day to go now that we're finally back to having them?
I think it's a bit crazy to think that maybe some students in Cardiff Met they haven't actually experienced a varsity, don't even know what the day is going to be like. So quite excited for those students that haven't experienced a varsity to finally have the opportunity tomorrow. Obviously, whenever you go away to Bath, it tends to be the hottest day of the year. I'm not quite sure whether the weather focus is that tomorrow, but hopefully it's dry. So
I think it might be raining, actually.
We're hoping for dry. However, we have got the ponchos that we ordered like 3-4 years ago for a home varsity, so we've got ponchos for everyone, that's fine.
With this year's varsity being away in Bath, what is the preparation on this campus, especially with VSU, looked like?
I guess it's more sort of travel logistics for us, being away, so just making sure we have enough coaches booked, making sure the teams can get there, all their equipment there. In terms of preparation from our side, it's obviously a lot less than it is when it's home, but we still have to get nearly 1,100 people to Bath and hopefully back from Bath, so it presents a different challenge, I guess, but excited. We've got a really good working relationship with Bath, and I think that's only that's to develop further as more sort of varsities that we we do and work together on. So yeah, I know it's really good to work with Jo and her team.
How did you and Bath decide on the 11 different sports for the day?
So this is always an interesting conversation with Bath. I think, first of all, it'll go on sort of what facilities they have and what they have access to, and that will be very different from when it's here home at Cardiff Met. So I know the last varsity we had at home, we were able to maybe offer more sports. We were able, for instance, to do indoor cricket, which I think we did badminton. So there's a mixture of reasons. I guess some of our clubs are sort of still recovering from COVID, trying to really get their membership up and running again, so they weren't quite ready for a competitive varsity match. So we have to take that into consideration. But ultimately, it is discussion with Bath, but they've got some clubs that maybe we don't have. So we've had maybe, I don't know, we haven't got really a big karate or judo martial arts sort of club, but they do. So unfortunately, we weren't able to do that. We've got more sort of individual athletes in those sports. So yeah, it's a long discussion. But it ultimately goes on what Bath can facilitate out there.
We haven't won a varsity before, so it'd be nice if we could win one.
Come close though.
Come close, we have.
Very close.
And what are your predictions? And do you think that we can steal a win this year?
Predictions? Always hard to gauge, I guess, because obviously everyone plays. They play to the occasion. Men's basketball is probably going to be a good matchup. It always is. They play them in the Bucks League. It's always quite a tight affair, and I think so. That'll be a good one to watch. Obviously, I'm going for an overall Archer win. We've got to hope for that first one, and we have obviously got this banner that we would love to use to celebrate at the end of the men's football. So yeah, hopefully.
The banner does say Varsity Champions. Doesn't have a date on, just in case.
Yeah, so we're not tempting fate. We have kept it sort of face down so nobody can see it, but we will take it with us with the hope that we can use it one day. I'm really excited to get going. I think obviously it's been a long time coming to kind of have one of these events, and Term 2 is always particularly busy for us. Obviously the sports tours as well coming up in 3 weeks straight afterwards, so we've bounced into back-to-back events, which is fantastic. But yeah, it's going to be really good. It's going to be a really good student day, and hopefully lots of Archer wins. We'll see.
All right, so Molly, give me some of the numbers going to varsity tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, Reese, how exciting. There's 13 supporter buses, 5 team buses, 2 minibuses and a van, over 1,000 students, over 900 t-shirts were sold for varsity. That's a lot of people making their way down to Bath. How exciting.
That's a lot of money as well.
That is. I mean, every £1 raised from the t-shirts were going to the charity Mind Cardiff, which was the chosen charity from the SU, which is really important, and they're raising money for mental health and especially for a local charity.
Banging. And then really quickly, we saw that the SU unveiled a brand new mascot, Archie the Dragon, and they're going to be running the Duck of Bath, the Bath mascot, tomorrow. Odds on who's going to win that race tomorrow?
I mean, a duck going up against a dragon. I mean, is there even a competition there?
I mean, I would say they both have wings, so I don't know if they would, I don't know if they'd fly or, pick up a bit of pace. I don't know, but
yeah,
the dragon's a bit more intimidating, isn't it? I'd have thought so.
And do ducks have baths? Is what my
ducks have baths? Well,
I
think it's a duck because like rubber ducky maybe.
I think it might be a duck in a bath.
A duck in a bath.
Yeah, but listen, I'd rather have a shower than a bath.
What a way
Have to get that one in
what
there.
a way to just shoehorn that one in there.
I think we're all so excited for tomorrow, especially going down to film and capture these amazing teams, and to see what Bath has to offer, because it's been so long since the last one. It's a whole new student cohort.
I know, it's kind of insane. Like when I was here on my first year, I've been here for 4 years now. My first year, I remember it being here, and it was just crazy how big of an event it was. Like I
was here too.
It woke me up when I was sleeping in.
It woke you
I forgot. Well, I forgot.
Did you not go?
No, well, I didn't go to the start. I kind of wasn't really paying attention, and I woke up and I just heard all the screaming, the drums, the chants, all the people just
amazing.
How do I put this? Slightly intoxicated, shall we say?
Yeah, intoxicated. We had the sunglasses on that said Dragon Taxi. That's what we were. There was a sponsor. I've still got those sunglasses. Some foam fingers and stuff like that. But I believe everyone's picked up their t-shirts for tomorrow now, so it's really exciting to get that underway.
Banging. So we've got all those numbers going. 900 students going. We've got about 200 or 300 athletes taking part tomorrow. 17 different events, 11 different sports. Molly, Quiva, and Joe, thank you guys for joining me today. I know I'd rather have a shower than a bath. Good luck to Cardiff Met Sport going on tomorrow, and we will see you guys on the Up the Archer show with all the highlights, all the news, all the stories from the day tomorrow. Thanks for joining me. This has been Reece Jones with Cardiff Met Sport TV. Up the Archers.